Right, it is currently 11:21 a.m. and I am referencing documentation that I captured in Pomona, California while I am on third-party group stalker, that is Omnitrans, who was heavily documented exposing what is a federal group stalking and monitoring by a government where that entity is in the shoes of the state, maintaining what is an environment conducive to criminal monitoring, which is demonic activity. The presence of this engineer light in and of itself is speaking to the pattern of conduct as I juxtapose it to that which I documented in March of 2022 during daylight savings time when I traveled on Omnitrans. Omnitrans is a third-party group stalker. That's why the entity maintained a light source over me through the windows and the windshield of that bus, regardless of what route I took or what time. At all times during the day, morning, afternoon, and evening, the entity maintained the light source over me, which again is speaking to the prosecution of the entire state of California, because the entity is maintaining a light source here at Alvarado Gardens now, rising it and setting it at one address. And so you're understanding what's the specific environment as I documented it on aboard a third party, which is a means of public transportation. This entity that's group stalking, as I'm also showing you, as has already been established, is also engaged in federal stalking in violation of Title 18. So I want to be clear, at 11:21 in the morning, I am on Omnitrans, leaving Pomona after documenting the light source, which is over me at 9:30 in the morning, while I'm at the across the street facing the Pomona City Hall, which again at 9:30 you're looking at Ryder, a third-party group stalker engaging in state terrorism with the Los Angeles Police Department and the people of the state that live at this property, 1800 through 1818 North Alvarado Street in Los Angeles, California, 90026, where the entity is rising the light source in alignment to me, aiming engineered light, and at 9:30 in the morning, as you see in that video, it's capturing the light source, and you're looking at all, I'm showing you all the elements of monitoring that are underway, the demonic system that's underway at 9:30 in the morning. That is not anywhere near or adjacent to or above or next to or in the same sky space of what is the Pomona City Hall that I'm facing, which is in March of 2022 at the exact same time, 9:30 a.m. What you will see are demons driving a fire truck, engaging in what is criminal summoning. That is crossing path, a demon that is in a position that they have yet to be removed from while they are engaging what is a cyclical abuse of a position. This is the government that's placing you under surveillance, and they're actually demons that are driving a fire truck, crossing path under the light source, which is remaining over the target individual, and also using the sirens and the lights on that vehicle, that emergency vehicle, for purposes of group stalking. This is state surveillance, and it's massive facilitation. While the entity engages in that, it's also terrorism. The entity is at all times following, so the sound of sirens, in other words, is literally indicative of the stalking conduct because it's occurring in the specific environment. The entity is keeping the light source over you while they are maintaining that specific environment, following you from place to place, and remaining wherever that you are via sirens and stalking, as you saw, 47 minutes of stalking and terrorism, which is, again, psychological terror while the entity is stalking you using emergency vehicles to do so. Stalking using audible activity is entirely demonic, and that's what these demons in ambulances and fire trucks are doing. Again, remember what the entity is doing. The Upland Fire Department, as I showed you, as they're crossing path, massive engineer light is moving across the asphalt, just like you saw Samuel Rickman engaging in that same identical pattern of conduct while, again, tying them all together. The entity is stalking by a helicopter, and you have what is the light source that's over my head. Literally impossible, because here, the sun is rising and setting through the windows. I can see it through the window of the same address, my apartment. That's not the natural environment. That is tying together, understanding, recognizing, prosecuting the system that's underway. And it is also occurring regardless of the actor. So you have what is a demon-possessed population. And within this population that's placing you under surveillance, it's legally relevant that it's the government. And that's why you have the people of the state engaging in what is the demonic pattern of being in your path while a light source remains over you for the duration of the day, from the beginning to the end of the day. That's a demon. And that's a demon that is maliciously engaging in what is, I like to refer to also as passive-aggressive stalking. But you're looking at what they want to physically convey passive-aggressive stalking, because they look to the left and the right, while their shadows moving across, moving all around you while they're walking by, while the light source is directly above your head, while engineer light is surrounding you while they drive by and look in the opposite direction, while they're using whatever commercial means like Ryder exhibited today, demonstrating demon possession, engaging in that psychotic behavior behavior, looking in the opposite direction. The light source is over me, and I'm juxtaposing that with documentation, which you will see in Pomona, California. Again, at 9:30 in the morning, I'm facing the Pomona courthouse. I'm facing the Pomona City Hall, which, by the way, are state facilitating venues where this pattern of conduct is underway. And that's why my documentation, I went onto the grounds of the court. I've documented all this. It's already a part of the record. I'm giving you what is an ongoing ability to compare the locations where I'm at and understanding what is terrorism, what is psychological terror, because it's not just limited to, obviously, a demon-possessed entity using helicopters to stalk you and fly in a circle, demonstrating their demon possession. That's literally weird to fly in a circle, period. There was no emergency, and by the way, in the specific environment, there's no genuine emergency. It's the people of the state, the entity summoning itself, the entity, while they're engaging in crossing path light activity and audible activity. It's demonic activity. It's highly malicious state surveillance. And all of those demons doing just like Ryder was doing, focusing on me, crossing paths with engineered light, 1826, Lobdell, facilitating venue. That's an impermissible threat. The people of the state like to communicate a threat, and no way a distraction. That's how you know every single last one of them are subject to what is a federal prosecution. But let me be clear, the entity flying over this sky space by a helicopter is, again, speaking to the entire entity that's going to be subject to a federal prosecution. Understand how both of those are hallmarks. And it is that which is entirely related to the maintenance of that light source that is nowhere near the sky space while it's hovering over my apartment. That's the pattern of conduct. And you see the Los Angeles Fire Department demonstrating demon possession, using what is an emergency vehicle to facilitate and engage in the pattern of conduct, engaging in criminal surveillance while I'm in Pomona, California. And on this day, the same day, you're looking at the demons of the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department in that same exact phenomenon. Engineer light, stationary, and dynamic all over the walls while they, as a group, this is a pack of demons. This is actually their condition, but you can't physically see it, but you know it, okay, by their the environment that they're in and their behavior in that environment. And it's very easy. All a demon does is drive by you. That has nothing to do with what is sunlight. The light source is over me while I'm at the same time in Pomona, California. There's no sunlight, even if this was the natural environment, that's going to create what is to the side of a vehicle swiping engineered light. And the light source, by the way, is over the Pomona, while I'm facing the Pomona courthouse. There is no light source that's going to be hovering over them to create that light activity. This is how you're using the body of evidence. And it's common sense. It is not rocket science. You are understanding and learning about demonic activity. That person could have a baby in the back seat, okay? Could have just came from Starbucks, a facilitating venue, by the way. And I'm just speaking to what the people of the state, the secret society, is engaging in, going about life as though it's normalcy, and it's absolutely not. It's entirely demented. And demon possession has nothing to do with where you work, what you look like, what your race is, what your age is, any physical or mental handicap. It's a spiritual condition which is invisible, and it is distinct from what you would claim on paper. Oh, I've got Alzheimer's, but you will watch them engage in the same exact identical behavioral pattern. Anything that they're doing in the engineered light is accomplishing the P.O.C. While that same demon-infected agency is stalking a helicopter, while that same demonic environment is maintained, such as Ryder demonstrated today, amplified audible activity, stalking in the path, looking in opposite direction, while the entity is stalking by helicopter and the light source is over your head. This is, again, criminal surveillance, prosecution for what is terrorism. This is what I'm speaking to when I'm referencing terrorism. Psychological torture. This is what the demon-possessed populations seek to inflict as an entity, while they're engaged in what is not a secret demonic activity. And this demonic activity is also criminal because a public entity, a matter of public corruption, is placing you under surveillance. It's currently 11:30 a.m. and I'm referencing this with regard to 11:21 a.m. when I'm in Pomona, California. And you're going to see LA Fire engaging in the same thing. They were flying over my head while this light source was in the same position 2 hours from now. As I walked outside, referencing the demons of the Fontana Police Department where the pattern of conduct was underway, and LA Fire providing an ongoing corroborating evidence against all of the people of the state and all of those here at Alvarado who are going to federal prison. And they flew in a red helicopter right over in relevant position while I'm capturing. Again, they engage in what is very damning conduct, which is clearly seen. Once you're understanding the foundation that is laid, you can vividly see and recognize the pattern of conduct. All right, and then you're understanding what is psychotic methods of trying to torture someone. I'm advocating on behalf of the ordinary target individual, and that's exactly with regard to the policy that I advocate and why, okay? It is currently, again, 11:31 p.m., a.m., and this is the engineered environment where you're looking at incessant stalking that's underway at a property where there is no, with regard to different treatment under federal law with regard to being placed in federal prison. Okay, it is current. That's a demon that's pacing in the opposite direction. Now it's 11:31 a.m. and this is P.O.C.